You wouldn't think that this movie was made by Disney. Hello everyone, welcome to Chinban channel. Today I wanted to take a moment to talk about a movie I just watched. This movie, I've been looking forward to it for a really long time. It is one of my ultimate favorite movies as a child. The Mulan live action movie finally came out on Disney Plus. This movie has been highly anticipated because of how beloved the original Disney cartoon is, and I was finally able to watch it last night, and I have a lot of feelings, a lot of opinions, so I just want to get them out there. Yeah, so first of all, just maybe some background about me that will kind of give some insight into why I think and feel so strongly about some things about this movie. I did train in Kung Fu for more than 10 years when I was a kid. Yeah, so I definitely have some opinions on the Kung Fu in this movie. I have watched a few Kung Fu movies in my time, so I'll definitely give my comments on that. And last but not least, I do work in a male-dominated field. I am a systems engineer, so as you may know, engineering is very male-dominated. So the original movie, it did have a lot of emphasis on how Mulan is a woman and she is in a male-dominated field. Of course, the military. It's not even male-dominated, like at that time, it's only men. So yeah, I do have some thoughts and opinions, really strong ones about that. But yeah, so I just want to talk about the movie first. I want to talk about kind of what I thought of the movie, how they did the movie. So that part doesn't have any spoilers. If you're deciding whether you want to check this movie out or not, that part is safe. And next, I want to talk about the story. This part will have spoilers, so I will put a little warning and then you can just fast forward to the next section. And in the next section, I really want to talk about how this movie compares to the original animated version and also how it compares to the ballad. If you may or may not know, Mulan is actually based on a poem, a traditional Chinese poem. So I do want to talk about that a little bit. Yeah, so let's get started. Before even the trailer came out, I think it was known that there would be none of the beloved songs that we love so much from the first movie. And personally, my initial response was kind of, oh, that kind of sucks. But honestly, I wasn't really too bummed about that because then I was expecting this movie to be more like a kung fu drama, and I was really excited about that aspect. So I think the genre of the movie kind of changed a lot from more of a comedy family movie to a war drama. Yeah, so regardless of that, I was really looking forward to this movie, and those were my expectations going into it. Okay, so first of all, I want to talk about the execution of this movie and my thoughts on it. So I have really loved all of the live action Disney adaptation. Some are better than others for sure, but for the most part, I've enjoyed all of them, even with their changes from the original cartoon. Obviously, we knew that it wouldn't be like the original cartoon. They added some characters like the witch and such, so I didn't have that sort of expectation. But I will say I was disappointed in some aspects to how the movie came out. So for example, first off, when you watch the movie, some of the CGI and special effects, they just I think I was surprised that this is a Disney movie. You know, you wouldn't think that this movie was made by Disney. In my opinion, The special effects definitely could have been better. There is a scene where there are two rabbits, reference to a passage in the poem, and those two rabbits, if you didn't know about the two rabbits in the poem, you would just think, why are they in this scene? Like, they just look so obviously fake and they don't really add anything. And yeah, some of the flips and stuff is just, I think it could have been a little better done. That was a little disappointing in my opinion, but that's okay. It just makes it look a little more cheesy in my opinion. And then aside from the CGI, which you can kind of get past, that's fine. I did find the acting a bit awkward. I don't know if it was just the lines. So the movie is really fast paced, like especially the beginning. In the cartoon there's a lot of development, but in this movie it's like keep going, like it's really fast. So I don't know if that kind of influenced a little bit of the awkwardness, and some of the lines kind of didn't really fit in well with a nice flowing story, in my opinion. Yeah, I felt like personally some of the awkwardness in the acting did take it away a little bit, but I will say the main actress, Yifei Liu, I don't know if I'm saying her name right, I'm so sorry. Yeah, Yifei Liu, I found her acting, the emotion she put into this role and in this movie was amazing. I think Mulan as a character in this movie was really, really good. She did an amazing job, and I was really excited when I heard that she was playing this movie, because one of my best friends actually told me that Yifei is famous for really elegant, girly, soft, fairy roles. So I thought that's perfect for Mulan. You know, this is exactly it. She is kind of a traditionally more feminine characters, and she'll just come in and kill it in this movie and really show her strength. So she definitely did that. Like, that was amazing in my opinion. I really enjoyed watching her in the movie. Another thing I want to talk about is because this is kind of a more historical movie, there's a lot of opportunity for beautiful set design and costumes. For me, I can't really comment on the accuracy of it because, you know, I'm not an expert in that. I just don't know. But I think for the most part, like, people wouldn't care about that. They care that it's visually appealing. I feel like it was nice, but I was also disappointed because compared to other movies, other Chinese historical dramas, the costume design wasn't as beautiful, you know. For example, the Emperor's Castle, I feel like they could have made it a lot more ornate. Again, I don't know if it's more accurate the way they did it, but compared to movies such as Curse of the Golden Flower, another Gong Li movie that I absolutely love, that movie is totally beautiful. Like, the visuals are completely stunning, and I don't know, maybe I just went into this movie with the wrong expectation, but I really thought it was gonna be like that, and it wasn't. Not saying that it was bad. I think if if you didn't go into it expecting like that kind of costume design, you would still enjoy it and you would still think that the costumes look really good. The village I thought was really well done. The village looked really nice, the village where Mulan is from. So yeah, I think there's some hit and misses in that point with the visuals. Another thing I want to comment about, as I mentioned, I have trained in Kung Fu for a pretty decent chunk of my life, and I have watched a few Kung Fu movies in my time, such as Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Kung Fu Hustle, Jet Li, so you know, just the pretty mainstream ones. So I have to say, I was going into this movie again with really high expectations on the Kung Fu, because the point of the movie is Mulan is training in Kung Fu and she is, you know, fighting in the war. And then again, I have to give credit to Yifei Liu. She did a really good job on her Kung Fu. Like, her moves were sharp, she gave power. Like, I really enjoyed watching her do the Kung Fu. But in my opinion, everyone else could have done a little better. I Yep, sorry. I actually think that the cartoon has better kung fu than this movie. I felt like the moves, they I don't remember what movie I watched recently, but I was like, ooh, the kung fu in this movie is like pretty accurate, and I didn't expect the kung fu to be that accurate. But this one, I expected, you know, to at least recognize some of the moves and some of the practices that we do at kung fu. One of them was she had her fists like this or something, and usually it's like this, like it should be straight up. And when we practice kung fu, they're pretty strict about that. So I don't know if that's just a different style of kung fu that I'm not familiar with, but it's like, I know I'm being so picky, but I just, you know, the little things are just like ooh. And then yeah, I felt like when they show the scenes when they're training in preparation to go to war, they could have, you know, everyone could have been maybe more synchronized with more power. Like those should be really powerful scenes. That was lacking a little bit for me. And then also I found the kung fu to be a bit more Hollywood style than kung fu movies. Like some of the moves were completely not practical. I think there's one where I don't know who it is, but they do the bow and arrow from like behind. I'm like, nobody's gonna shoot a bow and arrow like that. Like, yeah, I felt like that could have been a little better. But then again, I do think a lot of that is my high expectation going into that movie. So if you're looking for that, it's not that kind of movie, but you can still enjoy it. Like it's very stylistic. It looks very cool, but maybe not always so practical for fighting. But yeah, maybe that's okay. So the last thing I want to talk about in the execution of this movie is, as I mentioned before, it is very, very rushed. To me, at least, a huge part of Mulan is her character development, her questioning of herself, who she is. I mean, the whole theme of the song Reflection, but that was really missing in this movie. Like the movie is more relies on the dialogue, where I feel like the original movie, it's more in kind of the nuances of her wondering who she is and what is her place in this world, what is her place bringing honor to her family, and you know, that kind of not wanting to bring disappointment. That I think that's a huge part of Mulan, and to me that was really missing because the movie was so rushed. And yeah, as I said, just relying on the dialogue, like basically they just tell her how she should be feeling or what she should be doing, and you don't really get that introspective pull from that. Yeah, so this next section, I do want to talk about the story, so if you don't want spoilers, please skip ahead to the marker below. Okay, so the story, where do we start? So from the beginning, I thought it was a little weird. You know, she's a kid and she's just practicing, and they're going on and on about her chi, and I'm like, okay, is this in the ballad? Because I don't know why they're so obsessed with chi. Because in the first movie, it was more just like, oh, she's quirky, she's awkward, she's not really like the ideal type of elegant woman that would, you know, make her family proud. But in this movie, it was like, oh, she's a weird freak, she's got strong chi. And that was I was like, okay, you know, I kind of, while I was watching the movie, I was like, yeah, maybe they wanted to adhere to the ballad. Maybe the ballad is more about her chi. But then I read the ballad after the movie and it doesn't say anything like that. So I couldn't understand that at all. The next part that I didn't really understand, that again, all of the parts I didn't understand, I was thinking like, is this in the ballad? Is this why this is randomly in the movie? But it never was. So the next part that really confused me was the part with the phoenix, and that also bothered me because of the CGI of the phoenix. Like it just looks so fake, and it didn't really make sense to me why they had the phoenix. I didn't really get that whole addition. I actually would have preferred if they had the dragon and it kind of represented Mushu like in the first movie. But yeah, I don't know what was up with this phoenix. I don't know, that part I didn't really get. That didn't really add anything to the plot, in my opinion. So then when she comes back into after the avalanche, and she comes to show that she is a woman. So I found that part a little illogical because she knew she would get in huge trouble, and she also tries to tell the general in advance that she's a woman, which makes no sense. Like, why would she do that? And then, you know, I thought it would have made more sense if she kind of got discovered despite her best intentions, like in the original. Because yeah, why would she expose herself like that? That's kind of doesn't make much sense to me. Another thing is the Gong Li's character. I don't even remember the name of the character, sorry. At first I really liked the incorporation of that character. I like how she kind of represents the Falcon like in the original cartoon, but in my opinion she didn't really add anything, and then she got all salty at the end and she just gave up. Like, she's supposed to be another one of these strong female characters, but it was basically like, yeah, okay, the men support you, they don't support me, I'm outie, see ya. You know, it didn't really, that didn't really make sense to me either. Yeah, another thing that I found kind of maybe a slightly questionable is after she exposes herself as a woman and she gets exiled, then she goes back and she says, like, she's supposed to, oh, they're Mr. Bad Guy, Bori Khan, he's coming, he's gonna come invade the emperor and blah 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 blah. And then the general is just like, okay, like, be quiet, you. And then all of the soldiers, they're like, I believe you, Mulan, I believe you, Mulan. And I'm thinking like, dude, this is not really how the military works. You can't just say your feelings and stuff like that in that time. It's not that progressive. Like, I'm sorry, but then that just sways the general's mind, and then all of a sudden they go into the palace and she's like some godlike being, like, you need to be the one to save the emperor, and they'd be like, protect her at all costs. Like, that didn't make sense. In my opinion, it should have been more like, you know, she shows her strength and she is the one who makes it to the emperor. I don't know, it felt like so forced, like they were just forcing it so that she would save the day, whereas in the original she just naturally saves the day because she's amazing. So yeah, I didn't really like that change. And then it's a bit confusing that they would market this movie as they changed it to be closer to the ballad, because all of the nonsensical things, the phoenix and the witch lady and the chi, none of those are in the ballad. So what is that about? I don't know. But my favorite, I guess, a character in this movie besides Mulan is definitely Cricket. I really like how they added Cricket in. He's super cute and he adds the comedic relief in the movie, I think, the best. I think it would have been a really good addition if he actually brought some luck. Yeah, I think that's my opinions on the plot. I want to comment on, I guess, the main differences between this movie and the animated film. So to me, the animated film really focuses on how Mulan is trying to figure out who she is, and also Mulan kind of showcases how she can excel in a male-dominated field where she wasn't allowed to be there, through, like, I guess, through thinking differently, like when she is able to use the weights to climb up the post, and the way she thought about the avalanche, and she just more uses her mind and her talents to showcase her abilities. But in this movie, they just give her superpowers. They just say, it's your chi and you're just amazing. And it's really hard to identify with that. That took away a lot from me. As I mentioned, I do work in a male-dominated field. I don't think I have like super amazing chi or anything that's helping me there. I feel like that's the first movie showed that, but this movie doesn't. This whole chi versus just using her mind ability thing, I thought maybe that is because of the ballad. But I did check the ballad, and the ballad, I mean, I'm not like a literary interpretive expert, but it to me, it seemed more like it was just saying she fought along in the war for 12 years. They didn't even know she was a girl, and at the end they were like, what? This whole time you were a girl? Which to me, the message there is, okay, she's doing a man's job, so to speak, and no one could tell any difference whether she's a man or a woman or not. She was an excellent warrior. She was honored through her pure skill and nothing to do with her gender identity or anything like that. So I thought that, you know, the original ballad is a I like that message in my opinion, and the cartoon in my opinion, but I obviously can't identify with having super amazing chi and being able to do things because of that. So yeah, like to me that really takes away from like the whole message and feeling behind Mulan's story. Being someone who works in a male-dominated field, I found the original cartoon really inspiring, you know, because it showed you're not forced to go along with what box society puts you in. But this movie, I think it's more just, I don't know, it's about superpowers, I guess. Personally, I don't get the same inspiration feeling. If you don't want to put that responsibility on this movie just because the last one was like that, I think you can still enjoy this movie. There's a lot of feel-good moments, there's a lot of action, and yeah, I think that's why the opinions on this movie are so polarizing. I think there's just a lot of expectation on this movie. Whether that's fair or not, I'm not sure, but personally it really affected my enjoyment of the movie. But yeah, that's my hot take on that. Yeah, I had so many feelings last night after I watched the movie. I was like, ugh, I'm just gonna get them out of me. But yeah, I guess in a nutshell, if you're deciding whether you want to watch this movie and you're not sure if you want to pay on Disney Plus or not, I would say if you just want to watch a movie that, you know, it looks kind of cool and it's just a cool movie, then yeah, I think you can enjoy it. I think if you're looking for something that invokes more feeling and more nostalgia, then maybe, you know, you might be going into it with some expectations that won't be met. I would say that if you want to feel that nostalgia, I would recommend other live action remakes other than this one. It really breaks my heart because this is my absolute favorite Disney movie of all time, but I would have to say I enjoyed this live action remake the least. I think I'll watch it again and see if I can enjoy it more without all of the expectations I put on the movie. I do feel like it's a little bit unfair just because of how it meant to me as a child and how much it means to me now. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoyed the Mulan movie. I really do hope that you enjoy it. If you check it out, please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want to see more from me, including gaming and other reacts, please subscribe and click the bell icon. Thank you so much for all of the support, and give me a thumbs up on this video if you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching as always, and I hope you have an amazing day. Thank you so much for watching Chenbon channel. I'm also on Twitch if you want to join in on the live fun, and on Instagram, so please come say hi. Thank you so much and see you next time.